Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, I've heard a lot of very, very, very good things about Rewinding Cadence, an upcoming game where apparently your choices actually do matter. And I feel like that sort of tone, that sort of that sort of framing is pretty much in complete competition, right? With some of the existing open world gacha games where I think in Wuthering Waves a fair number of choices do actually matter. I remember stuff like the Encore story quest, what name you decide to pick for your team in version 2.4 and the gladiatorial arenas, but there are only like a few small examples from that game, right? And in Genshin, nothing fucking matters. The story just proceeds as is. So I'm excited to see whether or not that's actually like a thing that pops up over here. I'm guessing by the name you can turn back time if you like fuck up, and that's like a pretty cool thing to bake in. We've got a 13-minute trailer and gameplay combo. Let's go ahead and see whether or not some of the games in this space are going to be shaking in their boots now that this competitor is soon to enter the scene. There's a lot of open world games coming up.
Is this how it ends?
Okay, I see the whole like time action going on.
You're back! We've returned to the beginning once more.
I like what's going on over here. This is kind of cool. I wonder if the game's gonna have flying.
Before any of it happened.
The recursor.
Okay, I'm gonna be entirely honest with you. I know a lot of people said that Renacida looks like Fontaine. This actually looks like Fontaine.
Shall overturn the prophecy of the sunblade tide. But
and now we're in fucking Anne Orlando.
The end is already written.
And okay, are those all like individual deaths? So the world ended. The world ended. And then we got squished by a gigantic hand.
Already written.
I still couldn't change anything. Then let's try again.
Stories repeat in endless cycles. Narratives etched in timeless script.
Huh.
The wheel of fate perpetually frozen.
This game is literally just ReZero. Guess that's what it seems like, yeah. Yeah, it feels like there's gonna be like reset points. You go back and forth. Maybe it's like you get to decide when you go back and forth. But I can imagine that the timeline, the plot could get a little bit confusing. Maybe, just maybe, right? It could have like a level of complexity. But I feel like it also does have to be a little bit dumbed down for the gacha audience. Because, let's be honest here, guys. I don't think that there's particularly a large number of like smart people that play games like these. And so even with like all the complexity of like going back and forth, having time travel, all of that stuff, I feel like the story is going to have to be pretty on the rails, just knowing the audience. Now that we got that going, we saw the trailer. Let's go ahead. Let's check out some gameplay. Oh, okay. Are those the stats? Your main character has stats that I guess you get to roll when you start the game. That's kind of cool. Like, I'm assuming that's like dexterity, that's like strength, that's like intelligence. I don't know what that is, and that looks like luck.
面具隐者头天滚落异界之音，圣人之血在亵渎诗歌中沸腾。
Okay.
战乱的迷雾中。
Dialogue options. You got 4 different ones to choose from. And I'm assuming that each of these is gonna, like, buff a certain stat or, like, go in a certain direction. I hope they show us the difference between the choices. Yeah, I hope they show us the difference between the choices. Oh, we got skill checks, huh? Guys, Baldur's Gate 3 has done more for the gaming space than we might have realized, ladies and gentlemen. Yep, Baldur's Gate 3 has kind of done a lot, hasn't it?
你的反抗如同皮肤汗
术，为此神仆落下长鞭，英明传百。
My only question is, how do I get a bard in the party to give me some inspiration? Is that going to be a thing? There's going to be a gacha character that's the bard that gives you a +5 on all the on all the skill checks, whenever you twice a day. All right, looks like we got parries. Quick time events. Was that a QTE built into the character's kit? Because that looked like it wasn't. It doesn't look like you have to use this guy in the fight. That's like a WuWa level dodge, essentially. Okay, we got the MC. Okay, that's like a Hikari attack. Jesus Christ, she's getting fucking destroyed. It does give me the WuWa vibes for sure. Yeah, no, this is definitely like the Hikari cutscene kill. Somehow she survived that shit, though. That looked brutal. One mechanic it looks like is that the characters, when they're swapped into, it looks like they use their ultimates. Some people are saying those are intro skills. I don't know. Those kind of look like ultimates, because it looks like the bars are like completely empty elsewhere. The combat actually looks fun, though, yeah. I mean, let's be honest here. The combat looks insanely WuWa inspired. I don't really know what else to say about it. It looks like a different flavor of Wuthering Waves. And I guess you know that means that Kuro is clearly doing something right when the combat in the newer games within the genre are being based off of Wuthering Waves. Like, that is now, in my opinion, like the gold standard for how combat in a game like this should feel, right? Like team play, actually feeling the impact of like switching between the characters. And I feel like there's enough differentiation where it looks like the intro skills, like I said, are like the casting of ultimates. Yeah. It's very flashy. It feels a lot more fantasy and magic than WuWa. Right, I think it's fair to say that WuWa feels like it's a lot more grounded in kind of like science and tech for how a lot of it works. This feels like almost like a high fantasy, like magical, like I think of WuWa and who the most magical character is, it's probably like Phoebe, right? Imperator, hear me! And so like that's like Phoebe, but like over here I'm seeing like magical cards and like John Lee pillars, right? You know, getting like summoned everywhere. Yeah, the ultimates are definitely intro skills. I wonder how that's going to impact solo gameplay. The boss fights seem kind of complex. They do. They do. I've seen so many different movesets already from like just this one boss. And clearly, right, her HP isn't moving. So I guess we're intentionally using characters that deal 0 damage to her. That thing is not moving, brother. Is that like another ultimate? From the boss? Bro, is she bringing down the moon? Yeah, that looks devastating, brother. I hope you can dodge that. I hope you can dodge that attack. Or maybe that's just, that just sends us back in time. Because we know we lost that one there. Okay, I like that they started off with a boss fight to kind of like show us what I imagine is like the apex or like the pinnacle of the combat. I feel like it's not really gonna get too much crazier from there, right? I almost don't feel like I want it to get too much crazier than there. So yeah, I feel like this definitely might be one of the biggest contenders. I feel like for a game that people are gonna want to play, and I think the main reason for that is because of how actually similar it is to Wuthering Waves. When I think about games like Silver Palace or like the Anantas and all that other stuff coming out, the combat in those games is like one thing that I feel like a lot of people have thought was like a little bit potentially like iffy. I don't even think we've seen a lot of Ananta's combat, so yeah, that just makes it a little bit iffy. But this one over here, it is like that whole sort of like high fantasy version of WuWa, which I think is something that a lot of people might appreciate. Yeah, it's like a little silly, a little goofy. It's like Wuthering Waves if it was more like Genshin. Does that make sense? Wuthering Waves if it was even more like Genshin. Yeah. That travel looks that looks pretty sick if that's like how you just navigate and move around the world. Is that like her unique mount? Ooh. This looks like fucking Elden Ring, brother. That's a goofy face to have on in the middle of a dialogue. Okay. Okay, she gives okay, she rolled a fat 1 there. Okay. She's like a guidance. And what happens when we fail? Ah. Oh, that's gonna piss somebody off, isn't it? Okay. The enemies have like stagger bars as well. And a lot of like those intro skills, they are ultimates. Yeah, they are ultimates. You use them when you swap in, brother. That's why that shit is like on cooldown. It looks like we're about to break the dude, too. And then we swap over to Lion Man. Okay. I guess one thing we haven't really seen, was that a parry? It looks like you might have a unique button to parry. I feel like that's what we just saw. There was like something that popped up on the side over here. Yeah, there was like some sort of like small icon. I'm assuming that's like an alternative button you have to press to be able to parry, so you can't just do it with like regular attacks. That's what it seems like. It's like a QTE one. And that just like canceled the enemy attack, and I don't know if it like fast forwarded us to another like free like intro skill ultimate sort of thing. Yeah, not gonna lie, this just looks like a regular enemy, so the fact that it has like unique like fucking QTE like button mashing mechanics where, you know, you lock blades with it, and then you're like, you know, you're mashing a key to like take care of it. I don't know if that's gonna get tiring after a while, but maybe if it's like only against boss enemies, they should look more like boss enemies in the UI. They got like a victory screen? Okay, no, that's the travel. This is a very well-made, well-put-together trailer. I guess these are teasers for the playable characters. Why is she eating the rabbit, though? Black Swan? Well, I guess this is the thing, is that there's definitely male characters in the game, because we got to see, like, Lion Dude throughout all the combat, but yeah, we didn't see a single one in this trailer.
抓住你了。
The overworld, the city looks quite nice. Very lively. A lot of NPCs and like little small things walking around. Okay. Is this like a... Are these like made idols? They look like NPCs though. And you now have a dialogue option to roll something? Bro, can we pass a single check in this game? Why are they showing this mechanic and then we fail every single one in the gameplay? And they have not passed a single one. Just go again. Go again. Come on. Oh, dear. I'm sorry, did we just do a combo move where we saw her flying through the air, we grabbed her arm, and then proceeded to throw her even harder into the ground? Ah, I see. Okay, surely we save her now. Finally, we succeeded a skill check, brother. Holy shit. This game seems really goofy. It seems incredibly goofy. Yeah, do they have a male or do they have a male main character in this game? At least somebody said on their website they do, right? They do have one? Oh, okay. So why were there 300 people spamming in my chat that there's only the female MC? Oh, is it because you saw an early gameplay trailer and you just assumed that was the only thing that was going to be in the game? Oh, would you look at that? Oh, I guess it just turns out that just because you saw only the female MC in one early trailer, that might not mean that's what's going to be in the game on release. Femboy? Wait, you... The dog is talking. Interesting. Am we just got somebody ballerina twirling in the background. Okay. Oh, they got Dullahan clothes. Very cool.
此人似曾相识，近在眼前喽。
She's like Paimon, but like 1,000,000% less annoying. Okay. That looks like the traveling. I like the overworld movement mechanics. Oh, are we, do we, I'm sorry, did we just get a wanted level? Are we actually fighting? Well, we're getting the shit beat out of us. Now we're at 2 stars? Oh. Uh-oh. Hey, what happened? I bet when we kill this guy, we're gonna go to 3. Oh, I bet we're gonna go to 3, brother. Alright, what's that for? Oh. That's a lot. Ooh, looks like being a criminal is not a good idea in this game.
违规送灵困铁窗，人灵相对泪几行。感谢归还者友情参演，请各位洛伦公民和远道而来的朋友们尊重他人财产，切勿模仿以上行为。归还者，我们出道吧！
We just went to jail. This looks like definitely, if Genshin isn't dead yet, I think that this game is 100% going to slay it. To me, it really does give off a lot more of like a Genshin sort of vibe with its like world design, its dialogues, its interactions, that sort of stuff. It's a lot more like goofy than, it's a lot like less mature than the setting that we have in Wuthering Waves. And I gotta say that WuWa is going to appeal to a different sort of audience overall. I don't think that this is going to be the WuWa killer itself. I think that this will destroy whatever remains of Genshin Impact. It literally seems like Genshin with better combat, better movement, probably way better storytelling. And I think the areas where it might start falling short are things like the character design. I think the world design is pretty good. But yeah, like things like the character design and maybe like the overall story. Those might be the moments where it's, you know, maybe it doesn't fall as, maybe it falls a little bit short compared to some of the other titles. But from what I'm seeing in the gameplay, what I'm seeing in terms of like the variability, in terms of like the enemies, the movesets, the bosses, all of that, it really does seem like it's going to be quite an engaging overall experience. So yeah, this game is going to be called Rewinding Cadence. I think that it definitely is something that's going to be really exciting coming up in the future, and I hope it releases somewhat soon. But as we all know, when it comes to games like this, it could take quite a while for it to come out. And I think it's kind of clear from the lack of like, you know, really like English-focused storytelling or English-focused marketing. Maybe that's something that's going to take quite a while to come out. Because I think the only resources that they have for the page are like, you know, in Chinese. So that's something to keep in mind. So yeah, inspirations from Baldur's Gate 3, inspirations from GTA. It's taking a lot of like the best parts of all of these different games and it's putting them all together. And to see it this fleshed out, potentially it could be releasing a lot earlier than people might think. Maybe within like the next year. So yeah, we'll be on the lookout for this one. I think it's definitely, I think Genshin, I think Hoyo versus, I think the golden age of Hoyo is done and past. I think they're actually cooked because... I mean, I don't see any universe where you'd want to play Genshin Impact anymore after experiencing this one. Let me know what you all think. Peace.